Good morning. Welcome to another One Mind meditation. It's Saturday morning. It feels nice and quiet. It feels like everyone's slow to get started, as it always does on a Saturday, right? Somebody, good morning. Anthony, good morning. Awesome seeing you. The question that today's meditation asks is, are you stuck in the matrix or have you escaped? Take a moment to ask yourself the question. Are you stuck in the matrix or have you escaped? This isn't about plugging out of some digital world. It's about freeing yourself from the often unseen control room of your own mind. When we are not aware, we are at the mercy of years of programming that takes us along for the ride without asking our permission first. Let's explore how to step out of the passenger seat and finally take the wheel of our own lives. The first quote today is an old Japanese proverb that says, "Be master of the mind rather than mastered by the mind." Very simple words. Be master of the mind rather than mastered by the mind. Then an old Buddhist proverb that says, "Be the witness of your thoughts." Be the witness of your thoughts. You are what observes. You are not what you observe. You are what observes. And Anthony DeMello says, wisdom tends to grow in proportion to one's awareness of one's ignorance. Wisdom tends to grow in proportion to one's awareness of one's ignorance. In other words, having the awareness of how my mind does what it does brings wisdom. Your thoughts are the source of the matrix that you're in. Old programming, old patterns produce the same old thinking on repeat every day. And the only way to escape this matrix is to step away from the thoughts and take a good look at them. But here's the trick to actually escaping from the matrix. Do not judge any of the thinking. When you judge your thoughts, you become triggered emotionally by them. And when your thoughts control your emotions, then you are still in the matrix. Maggie, a very good morning. Happy Saturday. Hello. Can you step away from your thoughts and just look at them? Can you watch the worry about that upcoming presentation arise without immediately feeling a pit in your stomach? Can you acknowledge a negative self-belief without sinking into despair? If you can, then you are free. Good morning, Charlene. Hello. Happy Saturday morning to you. While your thoughts control your actions on autopilot, you're caught in an old program that wasn't even created by you, but by your childhood environment that conditioned most of your subconscious reactions. If you want to be free from the matrix, you have to be able to watch your own thoughts as they come into being and choose, will I react in the same old pattern as before, or will I choose to respond in a new way? This is true freedom of choice. If you're ready, let's slip into today's meditation journey together. Today's meditation is called Come to Your Senses. And this very simple practice of paying attention to our senses gives us the opportunity to practice taking a step away and looking at what we're experiencing just as an observer. If you're ready, you can close your eyes and we'll float away together, starting with the first few big breaths. Take a deep breath in and out. A deep breath in and out. A deep inhale and let it go. Deep breath in and out. One more big breath in and let it all flow away. You can continue the same breathing pattern on your own time. Every slow inhale through your nose gets drawn all the way deep down into your belly. And as you fill up your belly with air, also raise yourself up. As you breathe in, stretch out your spine, lift the top of your head toward the ceiling. And once you've reached your full height, let all of it go. With every exhale, soften. With every breath out, soften your spine, slump down your shoulders, and even drop your head. Our journey today is a step-by-step process of checking in with this body. Let's start doing that right now. With your next exhale, as you feel your body soften, bring your attention to the space between your eyes, to your forehead. Do you perhaps sometimes find yourself carrying a frown there? Right now, can you make sure that that space is soft and relaxed? With your next exhale, as your body softens, bring your attention to the area in and around your mouth. Do you perhaps sometimes find yourself grinding your teeth or pressing your tongue hard against the roof of your mouth? Or perhaps find your jaw muscles clenched tightly? When you experience that, do you have a conversation with this body? Do you let this body know that it is safe and it would be okay to soften? With your next exhale, as your body softens, bring your attention to your neck and shoulders. Do Do you perhaps find those muscles there being tight sometimes? Your shoulders pulled up high and tense? And when you do you remember to take a few big breaths and roll out those shoulder muscles? Help them become softer. With your next exhale, as your body softens, bring your attention to your stomach area, your abdominal muscles. This area is where tension hides the most effectively. Do you sometimes experience a tightness there? And when you do you have a conversation with this body? You let this body know that it is safe. You're holding this body. And it would be okay to soften. Then with your next exhale, as your body softens, bring your attention to your legs and your arms, especially your hands. Another place where tension hides easily in tightly balled fists. Right now, are your hands lying relaxed and half open in your lap? We'll take the last few big breaths of this phase together, continuing to help this body stretch, adjust, and settle down into as much comfort as possible for the rest of our journey. Take a deep breath in. As you release, drop your head all the way forward and roll out your neck muscles forward and to the left and forward and to the right. Take a deep breath in. As you release, roll your shoulders forward in big, slow circles. Take a deep breath in. As you release, roll your shoulders backwards in big circles, nice and slow. Take a deep breath in. As you release, bring attention to your spine. Lean your upper body over to the left. Lean your upper body over to the right. One more big breath in. And as you release, you can stretch or move or adjust any part of your body that still needs a bit of help settling down. Having softened our bodies into a state of presence, we can now turn our attention inwards and dive deep inside for the next part of this journey. With every next inhale, we'll hold our breath for a few short moments, followed by a really long, really slow exhale. If you don't have the time to sit for the whole meditation with us, then this is always a good place to stop. But if you are here for the whole journey, we'll take the next few big breaths together. Let's take a deep breath in and hold. As you release, make it a really long, really slow exhale. Take a deep breath in and hold. As you release, feel into your body. Feel how softness slips into your body and settles in every part of your body. Take a deep breath in and hold. As you release, follow the downwards flow through your body. Feel your shoulders slowly falling. Feel your body slowly softening. And feel how you are slowly slipping deeper into you. One more big breath in and hold. And as you release, feel yourself melting. Feel your whole body dissolving. Feel how you are slipping into a deeper level of surrender with every slow exhale. You can continue the same breathing pattern on your own time. Every slow inhale through your nose is an invitation. It invites you to turn inwards and follow this journey. So as you breathe in, feel the air flow in through your nostrils. Feel the air touch the back of your throat. Stay with your breath as it flows in through your lungs. And as you fill up the balloon inside your belly, feel yourself slip all the way in. Hold your breath. But hold it only for as long as it feels easy, followed by a really long, really slow exhale. With your next big breath, as you dive deep into you, take a moment to check in with this body. Perhaps even wrap your arms around this body and let this body know, hello body, I really do love having you. Take your next big breath. Our journey of the senses starts at the top with your eyes and works its way through your body. With your next big breath as you dive deep into you, the question is, what would be the most obvious thing you would see if you were to open your eyes? Now use your mind to see this obvious object. See it from all of its angles. Look at all of its color. Find all of its texture. And pay attention specifically to what thoughts come into your mind as you try this exercise. Can you simply take a step back and be the observer of the thoughts that your mind thinks? As you look at this obvious object, take your next big breath. Let's change gears, and this time, as you take a deep breath and dive deep into you, the question is, what would be the least obvious object to see if you were to open your eyes, or at least a less obvious object? And as you take your next big breath and dive deep into you, notice the thoughts that come into your mind as you're trying to focus on this less obvious object. Just watch what your mind does. Take your next big breath. Notice your ability to take a step back and be the observer of this experience. Be the witness to what arises in your mind. Let's keep on practicing. We'll take another step down to your ears and what you can hear. With your next big breath, as you dive deep into you, bring your attention to the most obvious sound that you can hear. What is the clearest sound you're experiencing right now? Listen deep into this sound. See if you can find the different layers of vibration in this sound. And now watch what your mind does. Take your next big breath. Let's change gears again with your next big breath as you dive deep into you. Pay attention to the faintest sound that you can hear right now, something that's barely more than a whisper. See how much of this faint sound you can hear. And then watch what your mind does. Take your next big breath. Are you able to give all of your attention to either the thing you see or the sound you hear? Or is your mind coming up with all sorts of other thoughts while you try and focus? It could be either. Some days it might be easier to focus on the thing that we need to focus on. And other days it feels impossible because our mind is all over the place. The point of the exercise is not to nail it. The point of the exercise is to become aware of what your mind does. Be the witness of what happens in your thoughts. We'll take another step down, and for these next two stops, your nose and your mouth, change your breathing to whatever it needs to be. And also, these two are the most difficult part of this exercise because there's not anything for you to specifically smell on or taste. But that's not the point of the exercise. The point of the exercise is to observe your mind. So let's go to smell. With your next big breath as you dive deep into you, see if you can find any obvious smell right now. And then also observe what your mind does. Take your next big breath. Let's change gears. Could you smell something the first time? And this time, see if you can find any other smell as well. And observe what your mind does. Take your next big breath. Let's practice with taste. And this one needs all of your curiosity. This is the toughest one to do. But just try. In this moment right now, as you take your next big breath, is there anything that you can taste? Bring your attention to that taste and notice what your mind does. Take your next big breath. We'll change gears, and now it needs all of your curiosity. As you take your next big breath and dive deep into you, is there any other taste at all, possibly, that you could find? Take your next big breath. We have one more stop to do, the surface of your skin. As you take your next big breath and dive deep into you, scan the surface of your skin and find where is the most obvious sensation. And then in that area, pay attention to the obvious sensation. See if you can find different kinds of pressure and sensation in that obvious spot. And then just witness what your mind does as you try to do this. Take your next big breath. And then one last time, scan the surface of your skin and find where is this slightest sensation. Perhaps you can just feel fabric rest on skin, or perhaps you can just feel the air touch your cheek or your forehead. Pay attention to this slight sensation. Take your next big breath. We'll take the last few big breaths of this phase together, slipping out of the breath holding space and into the next. Take a deep breath in and hold. As you release, make it a long, slow exhale. Take a deep breath in and hold. As you release, feel yourself slip all the way through. There is no more attention on your breathing. You can sit all the way back or even lie all the way back down and feel yourself just floating. Today's exercise is a practice in stepping backwards into that space of being the observer. Seeing this body have an experience and witnessing how this mind responds to the experience. We don't need to ever become perfect at focusing on any one thing without our minds wandering off at all. That is not a skill we need. If our focus improves, that's helpful. But it's likely that we'll never be able to command our mind to not think other thoughts. The skill we need is being able to take a step back and be the witness to what the mind does. Our thoughts, our feelings, our emotions, perhaps we could call it our inner child, our parts, those different narratives that happen in our mind. We are to see them as messengers. They bring a message. They likely want us to pay attention to something. We are to understand them as messengers, but we are not to ever give them decision-making power. These are thoughts and feelings don't always bring truth. Sometimes it does, but it certainly is not always truth. It is often, more often than not, our fears speaking loudly. So see them as messengers. They bring a message. They're asking you to pay attention to something. But practice taking a step back from those thoughts. Practice being the observer. Give no decision-making power to thoughts, feelings, and emotions. But reserve the decision-making power for your wisdom. The part of you that can observe with some distance. The part of you that can see this from multiple perspectives. I'll read to you one more time today's quotes. An old Japanese proverb that says, "Be the master of the mind, rather than mastered by the mind." An old Buddhist proverb that says, "Be the witness of your thoughts. You are what observes. You are not what you observe." And Anthony DeMello that says, "Wisdom tends to grow in proportion to one's awareness of one's ignorance." Or in the example of today's meditation, our awareness of how our mind on autopilot just does random things. Your thoughts are the source of the matrix that you live in. Old programming, old patterns produce the same old thinking on repeat every day. And the only way to escape the matrix is to step away from the thoughts and take a good look at them. If you want to be free from this matrix, you have to be able to watch your own thoughts as they come into being and choose, will I react in the same old pattern as before? Or will I choose to respond in a new way? This is true freedom. We have the last 5 breaths of gratitude to do together. With every exhale, I'll say my thank you, and I invite you to say yours. Take a deep breath in. Thank you to this body. It has carried me so many steps. Quite a journey to this moment. Take a deep breath in. Thank you to this heart beating in this chest. This heart has been fighting for every breath I've ever taken. Thank you, my beautiful heart. Take a deep breath in. Thank you to my physical senses that give me information from the world around me. Take a deep breath in. And thank you to my inner senses that bring information from the world inside me. Take a deep breath in. Thank you for learning to see all of these senses, inside and out, as messengers. They bring a message. They're asking me to pay attention to something. Thank you for getting to know them as messengers only, and learning not to give them any decision-making power. Thank you for learning to reserve the decision-making power for wisdom. One more big breath in. Thank you, beautiful people. Thank you for being on this journey with us. Thank you, Maggie. Thank you, Charlene. Thank you, Sun Marie. Good morning, Karen. So good to see you pop in with us again. I hope you had some time to sit down with us. Have a beautiful weekend, everybody. Have a good Saturday. See you again soon. Ciao, ciao.